You meditate. You are busy. You work hard. Why do you feel more tired than ever? A young man kneeled on the river bank, holding a broken pottery jar in his hands, tears dripping on the dry soil. He dreamed of struggling in the water for 7 consecutive days, and every time he woke up, his heart felt like it was bitten by a wild beast. He was not hungry or sick, just tired. It was not physical fatigue, but the pain of the struggle of the mind and spirit. Someone asked him, "Why are you like this?" He whispered, "I want to be a saint so much, but I am less and less like a person." It was the era of the transition from the spring and autumn period to the warring states period. The princes were divided. The countries were suspicious of each other, and the hundreds of schools of thought were raging like a prairie fire. Everyone wanted to make achievements and go down in history. The Tao at that time was not used to settle down, but to win. People in the world cultivate their character, think hard, cut off desires, work hard every day and hope to transcend the world, but they fall deeper and deeper. The young man was a disciple of the state of Lu. He studied Confucian books for 5 years, striving to treat people with courtesy and win people over with virtue. As a result, he became cautious, blamed himself, and couldn't sleep day and night. He didn't dare to get angry, didn't dare to slack off, and didn't dare to say much, as if once he lost control, all his efforts would be in vain. His enemy was not outside, but inside. What he fought every day was not bad people, not the chaotic world, but the self he wanted to be. And what really got him out of trouble was not greater efforts, but a short night talk with the old man in yellow riding a cow. Encounter at the ferry, a wake-up call of inaction. It was an evening when the wind and sand were about to rise. The young man carried a cloth bag on his back. His clothes were covered with dust, and walked alone on the bank of the Yellow River. He left Confucianism, left the academy, and left the sage he had forced himself to become. He no longer lectured, debated, or read at night to blame himself. He just wanted to go further alone. It would be best if no one knew him. There was no one rowing the boat at the ferry, only a yellow cow lying on the shore, with an old man sitting on its back. The old man was wearing a faded yellow shirt. His eyebrows were like distant mountains, and his expression was as peaceful as grass on a stone. The young man wanted to go over, but for some reason he stopped. "Excuse me, Senior, do you know if there is a road on the other side?" he asked tentatively. The old man said nothing, but looked up at him and smiled faintly. "You don't look like you're asking for directions." The young man was stunned, lowered his head and replied, "To be honest, I'm not asking for directions, but I don't know where my way should go." Old man, "Where are you from?" Young man, "Lu family, Confucian monk." Old man, "Where are you going?" Young man, "I don't know, I just feel that the more I learn, the more bitter my heart is." The old man nodded and said, "The bitterness in my heart is not because of what I have encountered, but because of what I have fought for." The young man's eyes trembled. "I just want to be a good person, establish good morals, and be a useful person. How can I become such a heavy person?" The old man stared at him and said slowly, "Water does not seek to be high, grass does not envy trees, and birds do not ask themselves, is it flying high enough? But just follow the trend of heaven and earth and be content with the status quo so they don't fight and don't get tired." The young man swallowed, but was puzzled. "But if people don't fight, won't they be swallowed by the world? Isn't the way of inaction useless?" The old man smiled. That smile was like the breeze blowing over the dead branches, light, but without mockery. He said, "Wu Wei is not Wu Wei, but wanton. You are soaring in your heart every day, cutting yourself into 2 halves. One half aspires to be higher, and the other half blames itself every day. One half pursues perfection, and the other half hides shame to see others. Isn't this kind of inner consumption more painful than killing the enemy? After hearing this, the young man burst into tears. He lowered his head and asked softly, "Then, how should I stop?" The old man gently pointed to his chest. "Stop at who you are, not what you should be." That night, the wind in Pingi was warm, and the moonlight fell on the back of the cow. The young man clasped his fists and saluted. The old man had already slowly led the cow and never looked back. Laozi's 3 Taoism to stop internal consumption. After that night, the young man sat cross-legged at the ferry until dawn. He looked at the flow of the river and suddenly realized the reason why he was tired was not because the world was too chaotic, but because he wanted to control himself too much. Laozi did not teach him how to do more, but taught him how to reduce those who used to disguise themselves. The following 3 sentences are the real way to stop the war that Laozi left for him. Do nothing and do everything. Put down the hand of coercion, and your life will return to the right path. Do nothing and do everything. Chapter 37 of Tao Te Ching. This most misunderstood do nothing is actually not do nothing, but do it without violating nature. Your suffering today is not because you do too little, but because you want to control too much, want to win too thoroughly, and want perfection too unkindly. You turn self-cultivation into self-punishment and becoming virtuous into self-whipping. You keep introspecting, dissecting, comparing yourself, and rolling yourself up. And in the end, even sleeping feels like wasting enlightenment. Lao Tzu said, "If you follow the trend, you will succeed naturally. If you go against your heart, no matter how much you practice, it will be painful." Cultivation is not self-control, but inner harmony. When you are willing to stop forcing the imperfect you, the world will begin to make room for you. 2. The highest good is like water. The softer you are, the farther away from being torn apart. The highest good is like water. Water benefits all things without fighting, and stays in places that everyone hates, so it is close to the Tao. Chapter 8 of Tao Te Ching. Water does not teach people to fight, but moistens all things. Water does not reject low places, but can penetrate stones. And you? You want to be a saint, but you are unwilling to make mistakes. You want to be a good person, but you refuse to be angry. You want to be a master, but you deny weakness. You think these emotions are obstacles, so you start a war in your heart, killing lazy you, angry you, and fearful you every day. But Lao Tzu said that water will not reject turbidity. It just passes through without arguing. Can you allow yourself to be sometimes muddy, sometimes quiet, and sometimes slow? This is not degeneration. This is returning to the state of true harmony with the Tao. Water benefits all things because it never resists itself. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is clear. He who overcomes others is powerful. He who overcomes himself is strong. Stop in the heart and no longer project outward your internal consumption. Today is mostly because you live too outward. You want others to recognize your efforts, admire your sobriety, and appreciate your awareness. So you carefully modify, restrain, and manage every thought every day. You think that as long as you are rational enough, others will not hurt you. You think that as long as you beat others, you will not be forgotten. But you forget. You have never really seen yourself. He who knows others is wise. Seeing through others is smart. He who knows himself is clear. Being able to see yourself is truly clear. Lao Tzu's way is from beginning to end, no longer looking at others, rules and moral standards, but returning to the original undecorated heart. You don't have to beat anyone. You just need to stop fighting with yourself. Stopping internal consumption is not giving up on yourself, but returning to the real self. When you consume internally, you are actually splitting yourself. Part of you is blaming, part of you is escaping. Part of you wants to transform into a saint, and the other part of you secretly desires to be just a mortal. You keep swinging the knife inward, but you never realize that the direction of your swing is yourself. You are not working hard. You are too hard, so hard, that even the real you has no chance to breathe. Laozi tells you, the struggle without fighting is the most powerful. The teaching without words is the most audible. The action of doing nothing is the most achievable. These words are not a tongue-twisting philosophy, but to make you understand. What you want is not more perfect, but no need to pretend. You don't have to work hard to be someone. You just need to start allowing who you are. You are not giving up on moving forward. You are stopping fighting. You are not seeking to improve. You are no longer demanding. You say you are anxious, but in fact you are just trying too hard to control yourself from being anxious. You say you don't want to escape, but in fact you are just too afraid of others saying you are retreating. But the world will not close all the roads just because you are one step slower, nor will it take away all your light just because you cried all night. So from this moment on, if you feel pain, don't bear it. Sit down first. If you feel tired, don't fight. Lie down first. You are not wasting awakening. You are returning yourself. You can be silent and heal at the same time. You can be confused and walk at the same time. You can even stop believing in anything and wait for the wind to come. I never ask people to be perfect. He said, be united with the light and be one with the dust. It means it is also good to take back the light and live with the dust of the world. True awakening is not to become a stronger self, but to stop fighting with yourself and then return to the gentle original heart that you have long forgotten.